Hi everyone and welcome back to MatheMagician.uk. As I said in the previous video, we're going to concentrate for a few lessons on multiplication. This lesson is going to be about using the grid method and manipulatives. We're going to start off with the manipulatives and I'm going to go into the grid. Let's go to the classroom and see what it's about. Okay, we're going to start off with this lesson, which is 3 times 5. Seems simple enough. Have you ever really thought about what 3 times 5 means? Think about it for a second. Can you say the question another way? Okay, let's look at that. So 3 times 5 means 3 lots of 5. So we could draw it like 3 lots of 5. 5 and 5 and 5 like this. So that's 3 lots of 5. Anything else we can do? Well, we can turn it around and we can do 5 lots of 3. So we've got 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. So we've got 5 lots of 3. Either way, they equal 15. So I'm not trying to trick you. And the maths thing that some teachers might say is this called the commutative law. I can't even say it. Okay. If you can't do, for example, your 13 times table, then this is a good way of looking at your 13 times table in a different way. Because you can just do your 5 times table. If you're doing 5 times 13, you can do your 5 times table 13 times. And that just makes the sum look a bit easier than, and you can go 5, 10, 15 on your fingers till you get to 13 times. Okay. So what do we notice about the shape of it? Well, the shape of the picture is a rectangle. Could you do me a sum that doesn't look like a rectangle, so it looks like a square? Now, square's a maths word. So let's have a think about that. Well, 3 times 3 is 3 across and 3 down. So what would the picture look like? Well, it'll look like this. 3 across and 3 down. Strangely, it looks like a square, which is why a squared number is a number times by itself. So 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 is a squared number. Okay, remember squared can be written as 3 with a little 2 in the air. The little 2 in the air means squared. What happens if we rotate? So if I rotate this through 90 degrees, it's still a square. So it's always going to be a square. There we go. So it's still equal to 9. So we're going to look at squared numbers in another lesson, but let's carry on with multiplication. So now we're getting to a harder sum like 7 times 8. Lots of people struggle with the 7 and 8 times table. So what we could do to answer this one is we could draw a picture. Draw a picture of 7 across and 8 down, or 8 across and 7 down. And then we can just count them. It doesn't matter if you do that in the exam. It just matters that you get the right answer by a reliable method. We could draw dots instead of squares. That just makes it easier. As long as you can get the right answer. Okay? It doesn't have to look neat. It has to be right. So what do we do about bigger numbers? So if I want to do 27 times 18, think about how can I draw a picture to make that so I can see what that question looks like a little bit better. Well, I can draw 10 and 10 dots or squares, and then another 7 going across. I can do 10 and 8 going down. I can do a shortcut. Instead of writing 10 little squares, I can just write a box with the number 10 in it. But this is what it looks like. That's 10, 20, 7. Okay, so what will 18 look like if we do it this way? Well, it'll be 10 and another 8. So let's have a look at that. Oh, wait. Let's have a look at that. There we go. So that's 10 and another 8. So how does that help us do 27 times 18? Because it just looks like a load of squares on the page, doesn't it? Think about what this is. So this is 10 by 10. What's 10 by 10? Well, 10 by 10 is 100. 10 by 10 is 100. 8 by 10 is 80. And then I'll bring up my nice diagram to show you the rest. So we draw the boxes in. And then we can write the answers in. So 10 by 10, 10 times 7, 10 times 8, 10 times 8, 7 times 8. So that will give us our answer if we add all those together. So we've got 100, 100, 70, 80, 80 and 56. Add them together. If you've got to line them up properly, but you need to go and look at my lesson on addition if you struggle with that. That adds up to 6, that column. That column there adds up to 8, 8, 7 and 5, which is 28. 8 down, carry the 2. And you've got 5, 6, 7. No, you haven't. You've got 2 and the other 2, which is 4. Okay, so you've got 486 your answer. Right, so can you do 63 times 23 on your own? Pause the video if you want to have a go at it, but I'm going to try and go through it now. So 63 times 23. So I need to draw a diagram. 10, 10, 10, 6 times and 3, and 20 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tens and 3, 10, 20 and 3. And then I can see that as a diagram when I separate it into boxes. I write the sum in, so the top column would be 10 times 10, which is 100. You can see 10 times 10, 10 times 10, 10 times 10, 10 times 10, 10 times 10. That's 3 and 10, so that's 10 times 3, which is 30. All the way down to this corner here, which you can see is 3 times 3, which is 9. Let's just tidy that up a little bit. And then we add all those together. So I've got 100, 100, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times. So we've got 12 lots of 100, which is 1200 or 1200. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 30s. So I've got 8 times 30 is 240. 8 times 3 is 24 and put the 0 on. And then I'm left with this 3 times 3, which is 9. And I add those together, that's 9, that's 4, 2 and 2 is 4, and that's 1. So the answer is 1449 for that. Okay, this grid is getting really big now, and some of the questions we get are quite got a lot of numbers in it. So can we do something to make this grid more simple? Well, yes, we can. We can take all these 10s and stack them together. So let's have a go at doing that. So there's 6 lots of 10 and there's 2 lots of 10. So we've got 6 lots of 10 and 3. I've got 2 lots of 10 and 3. So I've got 63 and 23. Okay, how does that help me then? Right, so I've got 6 times 2 is 12. That's 60, so it's got an extra 0 on the end. That's 2 with an O on the end for 20. So I put 2 zeros on. So let's have a look at that as numbers. 6 times 2 is 12. My 60 brings a 0 down. My 20 brings a 0 down. So it's 1200. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 hasn't got any zeros on, but 2 is 20. So that's got a 0 on. So we put a 0 in the answer. We've got 6 times 3, which is 18. And then we've got an extra 0 in 60. And we've got 3 times 3 in 9. And there's no 0, so it's just 9. Let's tidy that up and add them together. 1200, 60, 180 and 9. 1200, 180, 60 and 9. Add them together. That column's a 9. That's 14. 4 down, carry 1. 2, 3 and the carry 1 is 4. And that 1 on its own is 1449. Does this look familiar at all? Have you done this before? Well, I think you have, because a lot of you have done the grid method. So let's look at this as a grid method where we've got 60 and 3. We've got 20 and 3. 60 and 3, 20 and 3. And that's the grid method. Multiply the 2 and the 6, 12. Put your 2 zeros in. Multiply the 2 and the 3, 6. Put your 1 0 in. Multiply the 6 and the 3, 18. Put your 1 0 in. And 3 times 3 is 9. Add them all together, 1449. So you've probably done this method before. If you haven't, you're probably going to do it in the future, because teachers like doing this method. So let's try a harder question. Let's try 2,345 multiplied by 514. Pause the video if you want to have a go at doing it. I want you to use the grid method. Remember, this is a bigger number, so we have to do more numbers. Let me get a quick drink. Okay, so we have to do more numbers. So what would it look like? It would look like this. 2,345 times by 500. That's 14, so it's a 10 and a 4. Okay, we do 2 times 5 is 10. We've got 3 zeros and 2 zeros, which gives me 5 zeros. 2 times 10, 2 times 1 is 2. 3 and 1, 4 zeros. 2 times 4 is 8, and just the 3 zeros with none here, etc. Until we get down to this corner, which is just 5 times 4, which is 20 on its own. So you can then add them all separately, but I think it's easier to add the columns. So I think it's easier to add these numbers, put a total down here, add these numbers, put a total down here, and that's the total. I'm not going to go through the addition. You can look at an addition video if you need to practice that. So they add up to 102,800. That's 154,200. That's 20,560. And that one's 2,570. Add those together in columns, and you should get this answer here, 120,5330. That's 1,205,330. Okay, candidates make a lot of mistakes because they don't pay attention, especially when it's got decimal points. I'll do a different video on with decimal points. So, okay, so it's great. It's a great method, and it's but it's easy to make mistakes, but it's very, very popular. Go and look out for my other videos on multiplication if you want some other ideas or some options in case you're struggling with this method. That's it for now. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and hopefully you'll come back and visit us again soon. Take care.